welcome back to another episode of XP Overland. If you haven't already watched it, I've got another video which will be linked somewhere, and most definitely in the description, about the 5 things that I love about this tent. This, just for a little backstory, if you haven't watched that video yet, I bought this tent on Black Friday this past November, and I've camped in it mostly over the winter because I'm not a summer camper. I just wanted to make sure and get a video out, and we had a relatively cool day here in Oklahoma of like 100 degrees heat index. So I'm going to make this really quick, but here are 5 things that I hate about this tent. So this tent, I researched it to death, and I was looking for a tent that popped straight up because I had camped. If you watched my Volkswagen camper van video that I posted last year, there will be a link in the description. That tent has a clamshell style that opens up like this, and I slept in it and my knees kept touching the ceiling, and I thought I really didn't like that, and I wanted a tent that popped straight up to give my knees and feet as much room as my head. So I bought this tent, and so one of the things that I hate about it is the size and shape. So it is both a large tent, so it's large to fit on your vehicle, but it's also pretty small. So when you get inside, it's a tight fit. It's a 2-person tent, like a 2-person backpacking size tent as far as width, and not as tall in the center as my REI 2-person tent. So as far as the shape, so this thing pops straight up, but it's not straight up. As you can see here, there's an angle here as it kind of flips up and then moves forward. So the front edge of it here sticks out past the bottom, and the bottom edge on this side sticks out past the top. So in doing so, if you've got 2 people sleeping inside, one person has room, and I'm going to show you here. One person has room on this side, and this side they have less headroom. And so I decided that I'm not really much of a fan of that. As far as the size goes, if you look up here, the tent ends right up here, and so there's a solid foot of space that is not tent. It's just basically an overhang. So you lose that much space on the back side of this tent. So I really kind of hate that. It just definitely gives you less space to move around inside. Okay, so there is a lack of awnings over the windows. So there's a little bit of an overhang here, but pretty much if it's raining, it's just going to kind of get inside if you've got the window open, but especially on this back side, because as you can see, this window is angled towards the sky. So if it's raining and it's hot like it is today, you have to zip up your tent or it will literally rain directly inside your tent. The mesh is on the outside, which is good, I guess, but that means that when it does rain, water will get between the mesh and the window fabric. I have never set it up in the rain, so I don't know long term what that will do, but it would be really nice if there were a flap over the outside that you could put a little awning out so that you could keep this window open whenever it's hot and steamy. So I kind of hate that angle I hate the angle for two reasons, but it would be nice to have an awning over that window. It does have this space over the front, so you do basically have an awning there, and it's got these little flaps here to increase airflow, but it gets really hot and stuffy in there. Like I wouldn't be camping in it tonight. So the next item that I hate about this is the loss of cargo carrying capacity. So I originally had it on top of my Subaru, and I usually carry a roof box on top. And I carry a roof box because I have a lot of stuff that I take camping, especially whenever I go with the family. And I thought, well, having the tent, the air mattress, and the sleeping bag on top of my tent, or on top of my vehicle, means I would free up more space inside. But especially for winter camping, you've got pillows, you've got jackets and other things that I may have carried in the roof box that I can no longer carry up there because I can't have the roof box and this tent on there. So I lose that carrying capacity. But wait, you might say, you've seen that you can put roof rails on top of this and be able to carry a cargo box on top. That is true. You can carry it up there while you're in motion, but without upgrading your struts, it does not have a weight rating for being able to keep weight up there when it's deployed. So what that does is it means you have to empty out your roof box in order to open and use your tent. So I don't really see that as a viable option. It might be handy for putting a solar panel up there and maybe a fly rod case, something that's lightweight. But as far as carrying a cargo box, I don't believe that that's a viable option. And so I kind of hate that putting it on top of a vehicle, you lose cargo carrying capacity up there. Now, as you might notice, I do have it on a trailer, and that opened up a huge possibility for carrying cargo, but it is open, and driving down dirt roads, everything got covered in dirt, and as you can see today, roads are really muddy, and if I had stuff back there today, it would have been covered in mud. Also open to the rain and everything else, so I hate that you lose cargo carrying capacity. It's also very heavy, so even if I could carry a roof box up there, it's at the max of what my Subaru can have on the roof, so I really couldn't add much more weight than that anyway. So the side access door. So this is a side access. There's no access on the ends. As you can see, no access. And that is a window on the other side and not a door. So which is fine when I'm by myself, but if my wife and I are together, I'm usually to her left side and she's to my right. And so when nature calls in the middle of the night, and it always does when you're camping, she will have to crawl over me. So if I'm sound asleep and she has to crawl over the top of me to get out, climb down the ladder, and go do her business. That's a huge, huge, huge pain. And I will talk about that more in another video about things that I hate about rooftop tents in general. But having the side access door is a huge pain for when nature calls. Someone has to crawl over the other person. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is resale value. So this tent was $3,800 new, and I decided that it wasn't really the right thing for me, and I listed it for sale. And it's been for sale for months, and Of course, most people aren't really interested. They're just trying to lowball. I was getting offers as low as $1,200 for it. And when I said no, they said I was crazy. And the online marketplace is absolutely packed full of people discovering the same things I did about their rooftop tent and putting them up for sale for pennies on the dollar. So the resale value of a rooftop tent is atrocious. And so when you drop nearly $4,000 into a piece of gear, you expect it to hold its value a little bit. This does not at all. So you'd be lucky to get half what you paid for. So those are 5 things that I hate about this rooftop tent. Other rooftop tents are different, and my experiences are only with this tent. I will be releasing another video with a more specified complaint about this particular tent. And thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, 5 things I hate. My other video, 5 things I love, because this tent is interesting because you love it as much as you hate it. It is a love-hate relationship. So check out that video too if you're interested. Thanks a lot.